connection and opportunity. All in one place. Come join the community. So text it now, don't wait in line. Ride for life. 949-290-2905. That's 949-290-2905.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
There's so much more effort someone will give if it is not seen as the job, but the thing that they enjoy doing with their life.
We both view all of it that way. It's like, how in this interaction am I going to add excessive value to the person on the other side? And neither of us, I think, accept anything less than that.
I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Very simply, getting people's mind realigned and showing them evidence of what they can do so that they know that they can make the right decision in the moment.
I knew I could get better, and I knew, because no matter how late to the game you are, there's a phrase I invite everybody to live by, which is, there's always room for the best.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
Overarching umbrella, I would say, about how to accomplish it all is to find things that you're just really passionate about and that you love and you're interested in.
You got to do it because you truly love it. And at some point, if you're thriving in it and if you are being progressive at it, you'll probably get recognized for that.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.
Good morning, everyone. And of course, just as I get there, I get kicked off of Clubhouse. Amazing. I'm going to go on the internet on this side of it. We have Ask Me Anything training today. We are blessed to do this for over 28 years. And just as I'm reviewing this, we'll go ahead and give you where we're at. We're in Madison, Wisconsin, doing meetups, holding courts, interviews, VIP dinners for charity. Then we'll be off to Chicago. Then from the Chicago, we're going to the Bahamas with Sharon Lecter, Bill Walsh, and at the Atlantis with all the car wash. Then we'll be in Chicago. After Atlantis will be, sorry, that's wrong. It goes Atlanta, then Chicago at the restaurant show with Jesse Itzler in Atlanta. Chad Chandrigran, Kim Walsh-Phillips, Justin Greeny. Chicago there with Taffer and Sean Walchef. Vegas season 10 of Office Hours with the Who's Who, as you know. And then we'll be in Austin, Texas for the Aspire Tour. Happy to give our entire community passes there as well. So there we go. Getting back on here on Clubhouse. And Nick.
Now,
there we go. Hey, Nick.
What's going on?
All right. I'm on the multicast as well, but I had a little bit of one of those times when your phone just says SOS. And so I'm on the internet and SOS, but I was going through our agenda. What were you doing?
watching you on the multicast, and we were about in unison, so we were at the exact same point in time.
Very cool. Well, I was just finishing up an Aspire business tour with the who's who in business, and we'll be happy to give people a VIP pass on us. Just email nick@dmeltzer.com or me, David, beloved, at D, first initial, Meltzer, servant, beloved servant, David@dmeltzer.com. Today's training we haven't done in a while, Nick, and we would love for people to participate, give us either their takeaway of the month of April or and ask me anything. So, one of the things I pride myself on is being able to be one of the best hot seat coaches, able to take questions very quickly about coulda, shoulda, wouldas, houldas, and who do I know. So why don't I let you go ahead and finish setting the room and load up the questions, and we'll get started from there. I'll start inviting people in.
That sounds perfect. And for the invitations but not obligations, as of course, we are on tour over 200 days in 200 cities every single year, adding on what we call the car wash, which is the addition of a meeting, a community meetup, a holding court, interviews, and even one of our VIP dinners for charity. As David and I combine together to make sure to go through our schedule, if you want the reminders on where we're going to be, make sure to text us at area code 949, next 3 digits 298, last 4 digits 2905. Once again, that is area code 949, next 3 digits 298, last 4 digits 2905 to get the reminders on where we're going to be in over 200 invitations but not obligations a year. And for everybody joining us, whether you are online, as we are of course live on all platforms, if you guys have your takeaway of the month or a question for David today, please make sure to put it in the chat. And for all of our friends here in the Breakfast with Champions, the greatest room and community on Clubhouse, if you are on stage and have a takeaway or question for David, please just put a quick note in the room chat. And of course, if you are in the audience, use the hand icon in the lower left-hand corner of your screen to request to join the stage, and we will of course bring you up. Now, without further ado, David, I'm really excited about today's training because it has been way too long since we did a takeaway / ask me anything. But why don't we get started with a true blessing, which is if you wouldn't mind sharing your takeaway for the month of April.
Yeah, it was an amazing month, but I think my biggest takeaway was in my study of the ego. Always trying to study the categorization between what am I doing today according to the circumstances of the day in a divine direction of where I think I want to be and align the meaning of my past. But I came upon an epiphany about the ego in the categorization of, hey, is this aligned with where I want to be or better, or is this interfering with it? To understand the evolution of the ego. And so my takeaway is involving how the ego has evolved with its purpose, which is to 1, defend, 2, control, and 3, prove. Whenever we're in a activity that's defending ourselves, if it's controlling something in an uncontrollable, uncertain world, or trying to prove something to ourselves or somebody else, we're evoking the ego. We are in an activity that's interfering with where we want to be or better. But the evolution of the ego within the context of defending itself, controlling itself, and proving itself lies the fact that it started by defending, proving, controlling itself for the body. So some sort of dinosaur comes by, and now we are defending, controlling, improving ourselves when the dinosaur comes by, or the saber-toothed tiger, or another caveman, or whatever happened back then for the ego to evoke itself and interfere with the trajectory in which we're in. Then, in very little interference back then of protection of the body. Then it went to the thoughts, right? We're protecting our thoughts. And, now we have a need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful, all of these different things that are protecting our thoughts or, understanding, for us that we are in alignment with what we do, say, think, feel, and believe. And so we're protecting that intention, those thoughts. But it has evolved today even farther within the context of defending, controlling, and proving ourselves to ourselves or to others, that we now are controlling, defending, and proving about a perceived identity that doesn't exist, a virtual identity that doesn't exist. We're beyond just what we do, say, think, feel, and believe. We're beyond protecting the body. We now have elevated the ego's purpose to protect something that doesn't exist. This is what I want people to think I am. And that perceived identity is creating an energy gap between I am and this is what I want people to think I am. And we need to shorten that distance of resistance with wisdom and, of course, faith that there's something bigger than us that protects us, promotes us, loves, and perfects us. So my takeaway, a little bit longer in its execution, but that definitely has helped me to change the way I articulate my mission of helping people make a lot of money, help for the sake of helping others and having fun. As you know, nobody that makes a lot of money for the sake of others and having fun is unhappy. So we are on that mission, you and I, looking for another 1,000 here in our community every Friday for over 28 years. If you would like the ego guide that I have, or any of the takeaways from today, the replay, etc., it's just david@dmeltzer.com. I'll also throw in my book. I'll sign it, send it to you, pay for shipping and the book. David means beloved, at D, first initial, Meltzer means servant. Let me be your beloved servant, david@dmeltzer.com. All right, Nick, I'm going to turn the cards on you, brother. You made it hard on me. What was your takeaway? Or maybe you haven't asked me anything question for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go into a takeaway of the month, which comes from my experience speaking at my alma mater, which is San Diego State University, which I was blessed to do in the month of April.
Congratulations, by the way. I heard you killed it.
Yeah, thank you. You are the best. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I have a great mentor. That's why.
You make me proud.
But with that said, the takeaway was, I'd really seen a lot of these, our bench is absolutely deep. Our future is very, very bright. But I saw a lot of people that were really they're trying to align their activities every single day with a certain position or a specific career. And my takeaway that I came from that was build the person, not the position. Ooh. And that's just a testament to what is the importance of utilizing the man-made construct of time, setting minimums every single day and having non-negotiable behavior in alignment with where you think you want to be in the long-term future, knowing that then in divinity of what is time, it will always take care of you if you are doing the simple things every single day in alignment with what you think you want. You don't need to hold on to or attach to an outcome or a specific role, position, or even promotion maybe, but it's more so the focus on you, because when you build the best you be the best you for others. And so that was my takeaway for the month of April. And I can tell you this, our community is loving the fact that we brought back Ask Me Anything, a takeaway of the month. Dave, I don't know if you've seen it online, let alone here on Clubhouse, but the chat is absolutely blowing up. So without further ado,
I want to comment. Let me comment on your takeaway. So when you build people, not positions, you not only build character, but you reveal it. And one of the things I saw in you during the month of May, as you know, the month of April, because this is takeaway of the month for April, since it's May 5th or 6th or whatever, 7th, even maybe 8th. But more importantly, I have seen you build character over the 6 years that you've been with me and been such an extraordinary asset to the company, but even probably one of the greatest students I've ever had. But one of the things I saw is, through that building of character, your character was revealed. And there were several situations that occurred, especially during the Masters, that revealed, who you were. And I think tied into that is you build people, not positions. You can build character, but character is often just revealed. And the more you build it and the ready and prepared you are for the situations when nobody's looking, that it's just you and your character, it's so nice to see what's inside and revealed. So I also want to congratulate you. One last thing real quick, because I broke up. I don't think people caught it when I send my love to Scott Simons and his family and his community. We are praying for your happiness, and we will cherish the memory and your participation into this community that I'm sure was guided and encouraged and inspired by your father. I've lost both my parents, and I'm sending all of our love and appreciation to Scott Simon. All right, go ahead, Nick. Let's jump, rock and roll. We got too many people lining up.
Absolutely, and it is a pleasure to pass it over to Maria as she is live here on Clubhouse. And I think she was first in the chat in terms of mentioning she had a takeaway or a question for you this morning. So Maria, happy Friday. Always good to see you here. Why don't you unmute yourself and kick us off with the first takeaway or question of the day?
Happy Friday. Good morning.
Good morning.
David, you told me something a long time ago, maybe a month ago or so, and I've been applying it in April and definitely now about I get bored in the mundane, and you just talked about ego. And so is the ego in the negotiation with the mundane present?
Yeah.
Because I need to get through the mundane boredom. But what I've been focusing on, or I should say, and what I've been focusing on, what you told me, which is the reward of getting it done, whatever it is. So I need just a little bit more
Yeah.
to push me over to the mundane. Let's go.
Well, it's so funny because I never really have explored how the ego is tied into the simple things that we do or simple not to do, because the ego doesn't like two things, Maria. It doesn't like repetitive, and it doesn't like honest feedback. Well, nobody likes feedback in the present anyway, but the ego definitely doesn't want feedback. It doesn't want honesty, and it doesn't want repetition. And so when we realize that every time we try to have non-negotiable behavior, consistent, persistent behavior in the pursuit of our potential, the ego is going to evoke itself and try to defend itself, prove itself, control everything. And so it's going to bring up every excuse, blame, shame, and justification why you shouldn't be consistent, why you shouldn't be repetitive of what you call the mundane. I call the mundane the simple. The simple things to do or simple not to do, because the ego evokes itself to make it an uncomfortable thing, to be repetitive and to be honest. And so by elevating our awareness and utilizing our conscious as a witness, not as a participant, you see, the conscious has a capability of immersing itself as a participant, but it also has the ability to immerse itself as a witness. And when we are working within the context of simple or mundane, we have to witness the consciousness. We can't participate in it, or else we'll be stuck in that interfering feeling that you have without releasing that feeling so that you can move forward, accelerate, aggregate, and compound exponentially those outcomes that you desire, or even better. And so understanding that when we can be a witness to our consciousness. And the analogy that I like to give you that helped me so much understand this was, imagine when you're watching a TV show and you're immersed into it. You're in the doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing of it. And you don't hear people talking to you. You don't hear the phone ring. You're immersed into this piece of content. You're at one with that consciousness. And this is great for certain activities, but not for the mundane. You have to be a witness of the mundane. So then think about when the commercial comes on. All of a sudden, it's like you wake up and now you're witnessing that consciousness on that channel. You're not participating in it. You're witnessing it. You're not participating in it. And then you have to realize there's 1,000 to 1,000,000 other pieces of content going on at the exact same time. So that means there's 1,000 other pieces of content, but within all that content that's going on, it's all within a collective consciousness as well that you can witness as well. And so I want you to treat the mundane like a commercial. Your life is immersed into the passion, purpose, and profitability. Immerse yourself into the non-negotiable, negotiable behaviors, whatever it is. But when you and the ego tells you, hey, I got to control what you're doing. I got to defend what you're doing. I have to prove myself by not being consistent. I'm an original. I'm a thumbprint. I'm everything that I think I want to be, or I want people to think I want to be. That's when you have to just be a witness and say to yourself, hey, this is a minimum amount of time that I'm dedicated to the mundane, the simple. So I am going to spend this much time sleeping, this much time with my health, my family, my finance, my faith, studying time, studying relativity, and the subcategorization and activities or sub-activities that exist within each and every one of those things. I want you to tell yourself when you resist the mundane that you're just going to witness it, that you're going to become a witness to that consciousness, just like watching a commercial, not immersed into the mundane. And so once we create this idea of a pragmatic perspective, I'm going to spend a minimum amount of time on the mundane every single day, regardless of the circumstances of the day. And if I miss, I am going to make sure I super prioritize it the next day so I never double down on the losses. I'm always focused in on the divine direction I'm in and the meaning that I give that divine direction, whether it's as a participant in the consciousness or a witness of that consciousness. And so I want you to stop and breathe and witness when you feel resistance to the mundane. Does that sound fair?
Well, it sounds exciting because I'm doing that. I'm doing one cabinet at a time. I'm doing one thing at a time. Now I'm going to associate what I'm doing to a commercial. It's just 2 minutes, 2 seconds. I'm going to get it done. And it won't be boring. I have to change my whole mindset around it. But yes,
The ego makes it boring.
grateful.
The ego
Yes.
makes it boring, not you. You're the witness of it. Don't just witness the ego making it boring. And so instead of having the FOMO and FOPO of fear of missing out, fear of other people's opinion, fear of boring, it's JOMO, JOPO, and JOBO that you're doing. It's the joy of missing out.
So grateful. So grateful. Thank you, David. Always pouring into us.
Love you. Thank you.
Love you.
Mama.
Yes, thank you, Maria.
Hey, Nick, everybody at the graduation was making fun of us last night.
Why?
Because Dennis was playing the WOM card on me and my daughter. And she's like, what? Enough of the WOM. And I was like, well, I was with the non-WOMer and polishing my soul. That's what non-WOM does. It polishes my soul, Nick. Anybody that doesn't know WOM is Well-Oiled Machine, my fastest growing podcast that will be moving over to podcast one. It's called the Well-Oiled Machine Podcast with the amazing Nick of WOM and myself, giving and teaching the subtleties of success of how to be a well-oiled machine with time.
Yes, sir. Everybody, make sure if you guys want the information or to review any of our past episodes, go ahead and reach out to me directly, Nick, N-I-C, at dmeltzer.com. That's Nick, N-I-C, at dmeltzer.com. And let's keep this train rocking and rolling as WOMers would. And I'm going to pass it over to Judith, who is here live in Clubhouse for our next takeaway or question of the day. So Judith, happy Friday. Good to see you here. What do you got for us?
David and Nick, I just wanted to have a takeaway. You know, I've kind of met David in public a few times at Creative Con, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm learning how to get out of my own way. That's my takeaway of the month. My family is actually joining, my daughter-in-law to be is actually joining my family business that I have going on here, and she's taken it over. I've given up my phone for dispatching. I've given up my office area for her to do the billing and straighten out my office and do everything. And one of the things that I'm learning is that I was my own worst enemy when it came to my business and my scaling and my growth. And I just wanted Dave to know that I'm learning and I'm listening, and I really appreciate your Friday trainings and being a part of your group and listening to everything that goes on. And the other thing I wanted to say, David, is I finally got an equipment loan to buy vehicles. And I'm so excited that I'm out searching for vehicles, and with all your encouragement and everything, I just kept growing and growing and growing, and thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. And just remember to stop, drop, and roll. Categorize things as, is this aligned with where I want to be, or is it interfering with it? And those things that interfere with where you want to be or better, what you think, say, do, feel, and believe, that's how you get out of your own way. You're already just moving away the things that are interfering with your potential. And remember, you don't know your potential, you just know the direction towards a potential, but potentials are much bigger than anything you can imagine. And know that we're limited by our imagination, we're limited by our self-image, but we have the power to change the meaning of it, to expand it. This even applies to God. Like if you think of your God as an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing God that's infinite in his nature, her nature, and it's a unified, abundant, infinite system of thought in which it belongs to, that protects you, promotes you, loves and perfects you, you can easily
Hey,
Nick, what are we doing with the
my airplane. Hey.
Nick, what are we doing with the hay?
Should be all set.
I fixed it. All right, cool. So, hey, anyway, when you think of something that big, imagine there's a God of that God, right? So, when you're thinking of your potential, just realize that I'm still limiting myself at all times. We're all on the potter's wheel. We all are just trying to get better. We are here to evolve. We're here to learn lessons that keep on coming until we learn them. We'll forget every lesson there ever was, but we can remember, remind, and recollect every lesson there ever was as well, which is becoming more apparent. People are becoming more aware of it, Nick, because of AI in the cloud. I think people are getting the concept of the Akashic records, of an infinite amount of information that can be materialized and monetized in the human experience. Super stuff today, man. We're flying. Well, really appreciate everybody. So thank you, Nick.
David, can I say something? I want to tell these people how fortunate they are. I wish when I started my business at 85 that I had access to people who would give me such good information and do it for free. If I wanted something and I wanted to learn something, I paid $4,000 for a mastermind, which did turn out to be really good. But you're getting masterminds every day. Thank you.
What a great point, and it doesn't mean that you still may not want to make an investment in yourself to get proximity, to get even greater, but make sure it's guaranteed and make sure that it has a quantifiable return. But you can get everything for free. Here's the funny thing about that. That's so funny. I always looked at college. My mom was an educator, as you know. I'm still a 58-year-old mama boy, even though she's passed. But, when we were looking at colleges or whatever, and I didn't get into Stanford where I really wanted to go, and I didn't get into Stanford Law School, which I really want to go, and they still haven't given me an honorary doctorate, which I found out from John Hennessy. He told me I couldn't handle the work for an honorary doctorate. I think that was an insult, but I'm not sure. But more importantly, way back then, my mom said, it doesn't matter where you go to school because they all have a library. And regardless of where you go, it's up to you to learn. And today, there's a virtual library that is so easy to access, and it's so easy to learn from with audio and video and all the different things, a lot easier than looking up in a digest system, the Dewey Decimal System, to find a book that was missing, to read the book instead of just be able to ask ChatGPT, hey, explain this to me. How do I, change an outlet in my house? Or what is the aggregate of the compounding return on my investment at 7% a month, compounded every month, or something like that? It's amazing. But I appreciate it. That's why I personally give proximity to people every single day, 7 days a week, because on my mission, it's people like you who will empower over 1,000 to empower 1,000. And that's how we're going to change the world together. It takes a few intentional people to change the world. It takes a few intentional people. It takes 1,000 people to empower 1,000 to empower 1,000. That'll be over 1 billion people on earth empowered with the lessons, the dummy tax, the situational knowledge, and relationship capital that is needed to get to where we all want to be or better, with the ability to make a lot of money for the sake of helping others and having fun. God bless you. Thank you for your takeaway. And Nick, I know we got them lined up. What do we got next?
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to, let me see here. I'm going to pass it over to Brent, who is next up with his takeaway of the month or question of the day. Brent, my friend, happy Friday. Good to see you as always. Why don't you unmute yourself and carry us on? Happy Friday, Nick. Happy Friday, Dave. I love you guys.
Love you.
I love this community. I love this community. So I'm gonna go do a takeaway. It's gonna start with a grand awareness. This month in April, I had the fortunate experience of doing Everest base camp hike, and that's about 100 miles, just up in the Nepal region, totally disconnected. 3 weeks of just discovery, and so my awareness was a couple things, a lot of things, but two for this audience and what we're building together here. Is the bigness, right? The massiveness that is this earth and this human experience. And then the littleness or the bigness, however you want to refer to it, of the individual souls that make up this entire world. And it's like so, when we know these things, right? But having this experience and this awareness that actually nothing matters, but actually everything matters, right? At the same time, it's just a dichotomy that's so freaking cool. And having this experience really just brought that out. So my takeaway, though, from that is focus on you, right? Focus on your authenticity. So focus on just being good and servicing others and doing the things that you love to do. Don't do something you don't love to do. It's a waste of time. And move on. There's so many freaking people in this world. There's so many, find those 1,000 people. You only got to look for 1,000 people. So I love it. So my takeaway of the month is stay to the tip of the spear, right? And that's a Bucky term because I enjoyed it with Bucky too, which, by the way, is freaking amazing human being as well. I got to enjoy this experience with my wife too, which is freaking cool. Everything's awesome. Takeaway, stay the tip of spear. Don't waste time. Don't do business with dicks. And, even leaving for freaking 3 weeks, my business was fine. Everything's fine. So love you guys, man. Love you so, so, so much.
You got it, man. And, been blessed to mentor Bucky for years, and he's one of my 1,000, and to know you're one of my 1,000, and looking at that 1,000 perspective, and through firewalking with the tip of the spear or on the Everest. I know Janaea was out here, and she had great lessons about the journey as well to base camp. And so many people have these individual experiences at their essence. And for me, the takeaway of your takeaway is most people don't. Right. And I have a friend, Bart Berkey, who's hosted here on Clubhouse before, and he's the king of, most people don't. Most people don't do what you did with your wife. Therefore, most people don't have the outcomes that you've had. The reality of everything will be fine. And, looking at, we were talking about earlier, the ego trying to control, most people won't or don't because they think they're going to lose control. And in this case, you can feel the energy of Brent and what he experienced through our community of people like Bucky and Janaea and his wife and everybody else here. So, Brent, man, you are just a joy to work with. You're a joy to have in our community. And everybody's calling me from the base camp, going, why can't you do that? I'm like, well, because I have, in my situation, 4 children and a graduation and other things going on. But someday I will participate in that journey as well. But I don't live my life worried about what other people don't do.
Yeah, we talked about that. We were like, you think Dave could do this for 20 days? We're like, wow, man, that would be crazy if he could. But hell yeah, man, you're doing your thing, Dave.
Nick's almost there where I don't have to do any of my own shows, right? Nick could just do shows. I could go hike on it. I know one thing, my wife will not do it, especially after talking to Janaea. My wife is not going to ever climb Everest. That is for sure. So that would be the only downfall for me, because I don't know if I want to spend, more than a few days away from my partner. So I was jealous that you were able to go with your wife. That's amazing.
Yeah, I got some Ferocious Buddha hoodie pictures
nice.
in Nepal. So
Send them over, man.
In our group. Yeah,
Send them over. That's beautiful.
Freaking awesome.
I'm so happy for you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, and thank you, Nick. You guys are freaking amazing human beings. So really appreciate you guys.
Takes one to know one, Nick. All right, Nick, set the room. We're in halftime. This is where Michigan State beats up on Michigan, right, at halftime. So go ahead, give us the word. Recess the day.
That is fantastic. Yes, we are doing a quick reset of the room as we've hit halftime of today's Friday training, which our topic for today is takeaway for the month of April and Ask Me Anything. So for all of our friends joining us, whether you're online, if you have a takeaway or a question for David, please make sure to put it in the chat. And for all of our friends here in the Breakfast with Champions, the greatest room and community on Clubhouse, if you are on stage and have a question or takeaway to share, please just put a quick note in the room chat. And if you are in the audience, please use the hand icon in the lower left-hand corner of your screen to request to join the stage, and we will, of course, bring you up. Now, David, we're going to keep things rocking and rolling live here on Clubhouse as we have our friend Hatul, who has been patiently waiting. So, Hatul, my friend, happy Friday. It's been a little while, but good to see you here. Why don't you unmute yourself and go ahead and share either your takeaway of the month or your question for David today. Oh, Hatul, unmute is the lower left-hand corner, my friend. I know this is not your first time on Clubhouse. Hi, Hatul. It looks like he may be having some technical difficulties. So I will go ahead and pass it then over to the queen of curiosity, which is Colleen Malloy. Colleen, happy Friday. Why don't you unmute yourself and share your takeaway of the month or your question for David today?
Happy Friday. Okay,
Happy
I
Friday.
have a combo, and I'm happy that you brought up the TV analogy because that was going to be part of my takeaway. So because we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I've been really diving into the different layers of what this looks like for me. So when I'm thinking about the witnessing of consciousness and utilizing that TV analogy, I picture myself as a visual learner, sitting in a chair and watching the different channels. Now, because I see the different channels of kind of all sides and facets of my life, and I'm able to tune into the ones that I'm either dealing with right now, or I'm programming the ones as my favorites, that the ones like your non-negotiables, your family, your friends, your health. So I've loved kind of taking that and just getting deeper on that analogy to kind of tune into those different channels. And then I picture the ones that I don't want to deal with as the channels that are super high, and I don't want to have to click all the way up to them. I don't want to click all the way up to them in order to get there, so I just leave them where they're at. My question as part of this takeaway is, then I picture those old bunny antennas. How are you tuning in to find the right frequency of maximizing these channels?
That's a great question, and I appreciate your takeaway. So, number one, when we talk about non-negotiable behaviors, just to define for people that may not be familiar, non-negotiable behaviors are behaviors that are aligned with your divine direction, that you're willing to put time in every day, regardless of the circumstances. And I assign 12 hours of my day, of the 24-hour guarantee that God has given me, 12 hours, half of the guarantee of God, the 24 hours that he guarantees every day of my life, except for the last day he'll cheat me, 12 hours to non-negotiable behavior. Sounds a little anal retentive, OCD, too structured for most people, but it's not, because it's really most of it's sleep. And knowing that sleep, for me, the intention of sleep is to recover, which automatically makes me perform better and access information within the context of this consciousness, this witness consciousness participation, to allow life to be easy because of what channels I tune into aligned with my divine direction, and then don't tune into the channels that are interfering with, right? We tune in to a station and it's all snow. You're not going to keep tuning into that station, right? You're going to stop, drop, and roll back into a different channel where you have a clearer message with a stronger signal and a wider spectrum of connectivity, so that you have an elevated awareness through vibration frequency, or this neighborhood, as you talk, this community of frequency that's based off of your ability to recognize, remember, recollect what exactly it is in your divine direction. Well, non-negotiables allow us, if you can get over the mundane of the repetitive and honesty of it, that you can now make sure and be obsessive about, I got everything I wanted to get done today. How many times have you guys said that? Probably never, because I never did, until I realized everything I wanted to get done today is my non-negotiables. Everything else on top was the trillions of opportunities, options, and touches of favor that I have according to the circumstances of the day. And I'll never get all the options of my future done of what I could do. And so there is a beautiful harmony that's created by non-negotiable behaviors that's completely reconciled into the awareness, consciousness, frequency, spectrum. And I like your bunny ears analogy because, you know, you keep adjusting the ears until what? You get clarity, you get strength of signal, you get a spectrum to collect more channels, but you're not going to stay tuned into a channel that's no. And so you adjust so that you tune into a different channel, or you adjust so you can get awareness of that channel, that consciousness. And that's done through and seen by made from mistakes and knowing that, you know, I'm just interfering with the signal and I'm looking for to get the lapse of time shortened of that interference with that signal. So I'm going to work through the bunny ears analogy. It's terrific, but keep on tuning into the channels that are resonating with you in your divine direction of where you want to be. If you're looking for a cooking channel, but you're on a sports show, you know, with cornhole, I would adjust the tuning and find another channel that has the cooking show on it, because the cornhole show is just going to interfere with where you want to be or better. The doom scrolling on TikTok is just going to interfere with where you want to be or better. Tune into the people, places, things, events, circumstances, conversations, ideas, thoughts, and beliefs that are aligned with your divine direction. Change the meaning of the past to align with it as well, a form of adjusting the rabbit ears. So a lot to take in there, but you are on the right path, the journey. You have evolved to an amazing awareness that has facilitated an amazing life for yourself, which means make easy your life. Beautiful, Colleen.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Keep tuning in. Nick, I want to remind everyone, if they would like the replay or the guides on the non-negotiables, student of the calendar, AAA Philosophical of Alignment, Action and Adjustment, they just got to email me, david@dmeltzer.com. David means beloved. At is my next, then D is my first initial, Meltzer, servant, david@dmeltzer.com. Let me be your beloved servant. If you want to join me and Nick in the next 10 days in the 8 cities we're going to be in, from Vegas to Atlanta to Austin to Chicago to Minnesota to Newport Beach with Tim Story. We got Jesse Itzler. We got, you know, Spire Business Tour with everyone, Andrew Cordell and the crew. Just email Nick directly. We'll get you free tickets. Come, david@dmeltzer.com, or even better, Nick, N-I-C, not N-I-C-K, N-I-C @dmeltzer.com. All right, Nick of WAM, we are rocking and rolling this Friday. It's been 28 years, longer than you've been alive, that I've been doing this. Who's up next?
Yes, I see that. I think we've cleared the interference with our friend Hatul, as he had gone to the audience and then rejoined stage. Hatul, can you unmute yourself? I see you here on stage, my friends. Looks like we're still having issues. Okay, no worries.
And tell Hatul, if he's listening in, tell Hatul we're doing a UK mastermind. So get all the friends and family and everybody coming. We're coming to the UK, working with some amazing people, Liam Duffy and Kishore Lula and many others. So I think Brian, what's his name from the hot seat? Brian Rose. We're gonna get everybody there in the UK. John Lee, who's mentioned here today. Tune in at 2 p.m. I was told. But when are we going to be in the UK?
Have we finalized our July schedule? Because I have those dates. I just want to make sure that
it's going to be between July 23rd and 28th, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, that's what they need to know. We're going to be in the UK in the States. So just to give them a little forward, we'll get the exact dates of the mastermind, but we'll be there July 23rd through 28th.
Bingo. And we want to keep things rocking and rolling. We got about 19 minutes here left for our takeaways for the month of April and Ask Me Anything with David. I want to pass it over to our Las Vegas queen, that is Marianne, that has been patiently waiting here on stage. Marianne, happy Friday. Always good to see you here and excited to see you again in the next few weeks as we go back to Las Vegas for the conclusion of Office Hours TV season number 10. But without further ado, why don't you unmute yourself and share your takeaway or question for David today?
Sure, sure. So that's May 18th, I believe, but you're in Las Vegas, just to let you guys all know.
Right on.
Just got to cover that, because we love having everybody here. And, I've been going to, I went to every event for the last, I think, 2 years. So it's been so honored to be in your presence and everybody around you. My takeaway is for April is every time I do step into the discomfort of my greatness, I gain my power back where my power was taken away. And it's in being in the imperfect of just being who I am. So, David, you talk a lot about, hello.
Marianne, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Nick, can we help out?
You talk about a lot of times, doing things imperfectly. And a lot of times that's where I've been getting caught up in like this whole, like, a little bit of an imposter syndrome. Like, in April, something shifted in me, like a lot. And I see my greatness and my teachings and my learning and how effective I am. And now embracing that. So I've been labeling things a lot. How do you stop labeling things and going into one or the other or this or that, like I'm doing right here?
Beautiful. Yeah, and thank you, Marianne, for being such a great member of our community. You have empowered yourself, so many people. Also, one of my 1000s. Just a joy to see you in Las Vegas, California, and sometimes in New York. But moreover, labels are for shampoo. And what labels indicate is we're still stuck in a realm of judgment, not discernment. And, we want to catch ourselves because when we judge, we are putting ourselves in a position that we have not been granted. We have not been granted the right to judge ourselves or judge other. We are here to evolve in our imperfection to learn lessons via discernment. And discernment is accessing the information, evaluating the information, learning from the information, aligning the information with what's doing well, what's stable, what we think is doing well, what we like, what we don't like, what is working, what's not working, what we know and what we don't know, aligned with what's doing well, what's stable, and what we think is doing well. Discernment is a greater growth experience than judgment. Judgment is blame, shame, and justification. Judgment is labeling, and labels are just for shampoo. And so when we're trying to create perceived identity of what this is what I want people to think I am, or this is what I want me to think I am, we are just falling within to the interference between I am and this is what I want to become. And so you're on the right track. And the fact that you are even aware of the fact that you've been interfering with your potential via these judgments and trying to use force instead of power. All times when we use force, it creates counterforce. The power exists within us in the intuition, intelligence, and inspiration and energy that is already there. And we seek more power by clearing the interference between us and the infinite power, compared to creating force, which creates a counterforce, which creates more resistance, knowing that every struggle that you have and I have, the solution's already there. It's just a lapse of time until we find the resolution. That's why they call it a resolution, a resolution. And we want to shorten that distance of resistance that we're creating. And you're doing such a wonderful job with that. And once again, I want to thank you. Can't wait to see you May 18th. If you want to join us, email nick@dmeltzer.com. If you want to be invited or informed of the over 200 cities, especially the next 8 cities in 10 days, we have a text community. We have a jingle for the text community. Area code is 949. The next 3 numbers are 298. The last 4 numbers are 2905. 949 area code 298 2905. Thank you, Marianne. We'll see you on May 18th, if not sooner. Awesome. And Marianne's also a member, Nick, of our Monday group, which if you're not a member, if you're in the community here and you show up, you should, it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed for any reason, guaranteed to be a profit center for you. So please join the Monday community. Call Nick nick@dmeltzer.com. Join that community. We got thousands of people that want to help each other and know people that help each other. I show up I show up Mondays to help personally answer questions and make personal introductions. Well worth everybody joining that group. We'd love to have you. And it's a qualified group of people that can afford to be there and want to be there because we guarantee it. So they know they're going to be engaged. They know they're there to help one another. And we're blessed to have such a great community. All right, Nick, we are in the fourth quarter now. That's when Michigan State really thrives.
Yes, sir. I'm going to pass it over. I got a special treat for you. We have our good friend, Mr. Dave Shell, live here on stage. So, Dave, my friend, it's good to see you. Happy Friday. Why don't you unmute yourself and share your takeaway of the month or your question for David today?
Happy Friday, Nick. And Dave, hey, man, just loving the takeaway of the month. And I think it aligns with everything you're saying. You had a podcast with Sadhguru a couple of years back that I just really loved. And I love Sadhguru as well. And in that podcast, you were talking about how he's been able to grow all of his institutes all over the world. And how did one guy accomplish so much impact? And I loved his answers. He's like, Dave, I do. And either things do or they don't, but I don't identify myself with those. And when you talk about resistance, I think that's where we get all the resistance, is when we identify or we set expectations around what we do. That's when everything really starts to get messed up. So I just want to say that's my takeaway and see what your thoughts are around that.
I love it, Dave. And thank you again. Dave's participant as well in a variety of different levels of the community, but in the group on Monday as well. Look, most people focus in on what they don't want, what's missing, what they don't have, what other people want for them, or worse, what social media says they should have. And then they end up getting more of what they don't want, what's missing, what they don't have, what other people want for them, or what internet wants for them. And then they're resentful, guilty, and resistant to more. They're constricting who they are. And Sadhguru, and David, I encourage you, we did a new one at the temple with Sadhguru just a few months ago. So it's an excellent podcast out of the 4,500, 2,600 podcasts, but all moving over to YouTube TV, all moving over to Podcast One on the podcast side. So we're going to be more available, more accessible with the thousands of interviews that we did. But this idea is crucial because so many of us don't understand the do and the don't understand that we need to pay attention to, plus give intention to, by doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing what we want in the trajectory of what we want with the meaning of the past of what we want. And all of that together, when we pay attention and give intention to what we want, not what's missing, we don't have, not what other people want for us, not what social media wants for us, but what we want, we end up with that coincidence, with the coinciding of the universe, or better. Even if there's no evidence or the evidence is contrary to where we want to be, it's better. We just don't understand it yet. So we have to continue the behaviors in alignment with the divine direction and the meaning of the past in that divine direction as well. This is the cornerstone that Sadhguru is talking about, where people start what they do, say, think, feel, and believe by doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing in the right trajectory, not in a trajectory of interfering with what already is there, the potential of something better than what they want. And so understanding what we want, who we can help, who can help us, how to get that done, prioritizing circumstances within accordance to what's important to us, of the what, the who, the how. We then apply our why to what we want instead of searching for a why of what we don't want, which never will come. I'll be happy when? You'll never be happy. I will do this for the sake of others, always be happy. I will do this for the sake of having fun, always. I will do this for the sake of the behaviors aligned with my divine direction, always great outcomes. I'll be happy when? You'll never be happy. What a great takeaway, relevant to every day of my life and to everyone's life. If you would like the guide to that, by the way, the mathematical equation of luck, paying attention, giving intention, and creating the coincidences, that's in my Connected to Goodness book. I will send the exercise or sign the book, send it to you, pay for shipping in the book. David means beloved at D, First initial, Meltzer means servant. Let me be your beloved servant, David@dmeltzer.com. Please email me. I'm happy to send this stuff. My beloved friend, David, thank you for joining me.
Love you, brother. Thank you.
Love you, man. Great takeaways. All righty.
We have another incredible takeaway here on deck from the Breakfast with Champions, the best rooming community on Clubhouse. I'm going to pass it over to Marco Antonio, who's been patiently waiting. Marco, my friend, happy Friday. Good to see you here. Why don't you unmute yourself and share away?
Happy Friday, brothers. What's up, David?
Sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher for a second.
Yep, that's me. You know it. Yeah, man, my takeaway was your body will give out before your mind does. You know, and as you know, I'm an agent. I help people with planning for their lives. And I had a family member that's a client that was just sharing with me how she's been taking care of her 96-year-old dad in retirement. You know, she wasn't really planning for that, the time commitment, the cost associated with it. And I shared with her the lesson you shared with me, which is like one of the leading causes to death is unfortunately people falling. So, you know, for that reason, she hired a nurse to help him kind of move around the house. And in his final days, as he was getting weak and bedridden, one morning he decided he wanted to walk to the kitchen. And she had told him, she was adamant about helping him, but he really believed that he could, you know, and in that process, he fell. And that's eventually what led to his final days, and he died. You know, at the end, our brain loses the ability to lose its command over our body. And it was just a reminder for me that we only have one body. We need to take care of it. And also it was a reminder for me to make sure we have I have a long-term care plan in place, you know, a life insurance that has living benefits, you know, because life is long. And as we get older, we don't want to add any extra responsibility on our kids to have to take care of us, to feed us, to bathe us. And that was my takeaway.
Yeah, it's such a good takeaway. And my wife made those plans. Go ahead and mute yourself real quick, Marco Antonio. They you know, there is also a great savings plan involved in this. There's a variety of things. If you're not educated, because I wasn't, this one point of business, of personal, of experiential, and of giving and receiving would have changed my trajectory if I would have found a mentor, a teacher, or a coach like you or Hannah or Marshall Falk or some of my financial literacy business partners, without a doubt, because I just wasted. And it's going to, you know, waste is going to be a training of mine, because I think people don't understand the difference between scarcity and frugality. And frugality is I don't want to waste money. Scarcity is I don't believe there's enough money or whatever else there is. And so understanding how to utilize frugality within the context of, you know, this future self, this divine direction of taking care of the body and the mind, right? They you know, all the body automatically will wear out. The mind doesn't have to. The mind doesn't have the same anatomical and biochemical responses that the body does, and that we can actually keep developing the brain as we get older and older and older, where no matter what, now if we use CRISPR or some of the peptides and other things, who knows how long the body will last, but it naturally wears out and the brain naturally develops. The mind absolutely is infinite on top of the brain. Because remember, you know, the clock to time is like the brain to the mind. The clock to time is like the brain to the mind. So the clock is not infinite. It's man-made constructive time, and time itself is infinite. The same holds true with the brain. It's a man-made, a man anatomical part of our body. The mind is infinite. And so understanding a clock to time is like the brain to the mind, understanding that we have man-made constructs that will help provide economic, emotional, spiritual, physical benefits. And if you want to be educated on that, email me. I'll make those introductions, get you the financial opportunities, options, and touches of favor for you to secure your future, mind, body, and soul. David@dmeltzer.com. Nick of WOM, speaking of time and the clock to time, the WOM podcast teaches people use a day of the clock, a day of the calendar to the subtleties of success. And time has such an integral part into our human experience. It starts when the heart starts and ends when the heart stops. Anyway, we got time for one more question.
Yes, sir. For our closing question of the day, I'm going to pass it over to Allie, who is joined us on stage. So, Allie, happy Friday. Close us out with the final question of the day.
Happy Friday. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, David. Love being here. Love our community. So a little bit of a two-parter. So my takeaway from April is really simple but powerful as I've really applied it to my life. And that's really practicing and being intentional with being present where your feet are. So really grounding yourself in the current moment, leaning into that faith, and trusting that you're on the right path, even when the future may seem scary or unseen in the moment. So that's been a huge impact in my life. Second part of that is a question, which is I've noticed that some of the greatest opportunities in my life has come through pressure, uncertainty, and uncomfortable growth. But I've also realized as I've evolved and gotten older that I've become more aware of alignment and fulfillment, which is a lot of what you talk about. How do you personally discern the difference between pressure that's refining you versus pressure that's pulling you away from who you're meant to become?
Yeah, so it's not the pressure that defines you or pulls you away. It's the intention. The pressure is always there, right? Because uncertainty is always there. So the pressure is always there. It is either interfering with or it's helping or assisting you in alignment with where you want to be or better. So it starts in understanding daily practices and understanding time with non-negotiable, negotiable, planned and unplanned, paid for and unpaid for, sleep, a variety of other things. And so as you start to realize that you cannot find outside of you this pressure, quote unquote, that doesn't exist inside of you. And so when we start to identify what are we doing to interfere with this and see if this quote unquote pressure of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe is aligned with the divine direction of where we want to be or better, or is it interfering with it? And so we're actually creating things that don't exist to interfere with that which already exists. And so within the context of this equation of luck, universe, we can start identifying and taking away the need for control, defense, or proof by utilizing non-negotiable behavior. No matter what happens today, I'm going to get a minimum amount of 8 hours of sleep. No matter what happens today, I'm going to have a minimum of an hour on my health. No matter what happens today, I'm going to spend a minimum of an hour with my family and friends. No matter what happens today, I'm going to spend a minimum amount of time studying time or my finances and the relativity of it, aligning all of this with the divine direction what I'm going to be in. Pressure is perceived. Pressure is perceived. When you're in the learning zone, there is a certain amount of pressure that will allow you to expand or move in the divine direction. When you're in the comfort zone and you stay out of any pressure, it's going to constrict. So more and more things will actually cause pressure when you stay in the comfort zone. When you're in the learning zone, pretty soon the size of what used to be your learning zone becomes your comfort zone. And the anxiety zone, which also constricts, if you stay too long in the anxiety zone, put too much pressure on yourself, it's going to constrict down to the same place where you can't get out of bed or you want to commit suicide. So understanding the concentric circles of comfort zone, learning zone, and anxiety zone. If anybody would like that exercise guide, I will email it, david@dmeltzer.com. It is 7 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Central time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to hand it off, Nick. Why don't you close out Clubhouse? I will close out the multicast. Thank you, my friends. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Thank you so much. Remember to be kind to your future self, and do good deeds. Thanks, Nick.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Javi.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Ask Me Anything takeaway of the month. We will be here every Friday for over 28 years. If you want to join us, we're going to put up the cities real quick. We're in Madison. They all have meetups, holding courts, interviews, VIP dinners for charity. Come and join us. Masterminds. Madison, Wisconsin, then Chicago, then the Bahamas with Sharon Lecter and Bill Walsh. Then Atlanta with Jesse Itzler, Chad Chandrigan, Kim Walsh-Phillips, Justin Guarini. Then the restaurant show with Sean Walchef, Nick Tapper, Chicago, then Las Vegas for season 10 of Office Hours with the who's who, billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, then the Aspire Business Tours. Just email me. I'll get you tickets. Austin, Texas, the Aspire Business Tour with Tim Story as well. Then back to Newport Beach with Tim Story for a mastermind holding court meetup, VIP dinners, at everything. Stay informed by texting me 949 area code 298-2905, 949-298-2905. Please text me to be informed and invited. Not obligated. Email me, David Beloved at D, first initial, Meltzer servant. Let me be your beloved servant, David at dmeltzer.com. Get the replays of this. Get my books, guides, exercises for free. Join us every day, David at dmeltzer.com. Remember, most importantly, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Hit it, Gigi.
Wanna know where David's gonna be? Get invites, updates, and community. When he's in your city, you won't miss a thing. Just text the number, let your phone ring, 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 ring. 949-298-2905. That's 949-298-2905. Events, connection, and opportunity, all in one place. Come join the community. So text it now, don't wait in line. 949-298-2905. That's 949-298-2905.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
There's so much more effort someone will give if it is not seen as the job, but the thing that they enjoy doing with their life.
We both view all of it that way. It's like, how in this interaction am I going to add excessive value to the person on the other side? And neither of us, I think, accept anything less than that.
I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Very simply, getting people's mind realigned and showing them evidence of what they can do so that they know that they can make the right decision in the moment.
I knew I could get better, and I knew, because no matter how late to the game you are, there's a phrase I invite everybody to live by, which is there's always room for the best.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
Overarching umbrella, I would say, about how to accomplish it all is to find things that you're just really passionate about and that you love and you're interested in.
You got to do it because you truly love it. And at some point, if you're thriving in it and if you are being progressive at it, you'll probably get recognized for that.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.